Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to look at removing some link options from any of the fields within listing types that have the WP editor option turned on. So with my listing and the listing types, you have the option with text-based fields to either use the WP editor option, which is like the what you see, what you get editor, WYSIWYG editor that has, the italics, the bold, bulleted list, whatever things that you choose to enable there. There's also just the plain old text view where you can't format it in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so this video is going to be related specifically to the WP editor forms that allow by default those link options. Okay, you can read through this guide, but this guide has actually been out there for a while. I just updated this because a client asked me how we might do this on a per role basis. Okay, so she was thinking, let's create two different description fields, for example, that then used package visibility to show per for this role or for not that role. But then we got it as she was kind of talking it out. She made a really good point. Whereas if you do that, it's kind of going to be harder to manage, and then you got to think about like meta descriptions for SEO and things like that. So she was right to kind of question what it is that her approach and whether it was right or not. So my recommendation was, let's just go back. You should go back to having that default description field, and then let's just hide those link options on a per role basis using code. Okay, which is really easy to do once you know how to do it. But I'll let you guys read through this guide, and you can form your own opinion on whether you see the importance that I do of why you might want to hide these links. Or you can look at it a different way. You can look at it as it's not just dangerous and risky to allow these links for, people can inject spammy links and things like that and hurt your site in the end. But also you could use this as a monetization strategy and say, hey, unless you buy this particular package, in which you get this particular role, then we're going to unlock the ability for you to add links, which is what my client is going to do in this case. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. Just look how we're going to implement this. Now there's two options. In the past, this guide talked about, and I had a code snippet for doing it the PHP route. I think what's going to resonate most with people that are watching this video is the CSS option, because it's much simpler to implement. It's also going to make it much easier to assign the CSS or this solution on a per role basis. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. So as I say here, option one, the CSS route is the easiest by far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go out as step one says. We're going to add the CSS option from this code snippet. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we're just going to grab the CSS from option one. Okay, we're then going to drop into the back end of our website. Let me move some stuff out of the way here. And we're going to jump over into WP Codebox. And like I said, this is, if you haven't seen, you've probably seen some of my videos where I've recommended WP Codebox. You can do this with any code snippet plugin out there that allows you to apply code snippets conditionally. But WP Codebox is my recommendation. It's what my clients use, I use. It's beautiful. Okay, but you can use any solution out there that allows conditional applications of code. Or if you are good with CSS, you can do it yourself, just write it within the code. But my guess is if you're that good with CSS, you probably don't even need this video at all. Okay, so let's go and we'll just create a new snippet here. But if you already have one going that only applies to the add listing flow, I call it, you can apply it there. So for example, if I expand this CSS light mode folder here, this is a clone of the Canvas starter site. So you'll see here we've got an add listing flow code snippet. So this is using the conditions builder. As we see here, it's only applying if the page URL contains the slug add dash listing in it, okay? Or the page URL contains this other edit URL, which occurs when you're editing a listing, okay? So you can, if you have that, you can drop this right in there, but it gets a little tricky when you start talking about roles. So what I would probably do if it was me in this particular case, I would just come in here and create a simple snippet. We want to change it to type CSS. Drop the code in here from the snippet that I've provided. Okay, let's give this a title. We'll just give it the same title of this post. Okay, and we're going to then drop down and we're going to go to Open Conditions Builder. Then we're going to click Add Condition. We're then going to change the location drop down to current logged in user role is, and then you're going to pick whatever it is, whatever role there. I'm actually going to choose administrator in this case because I'm actually logged in as administrator, so I want to be able to show you how it works. You would not set this as an admin if you're following this video. You would do subscriber or customer or whatever your custom role is that of your choice. But you're not going to be using administrator like I am here. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, but we're not going to enable it just yet. So let's go back and let's look at a listing so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, so if I edit a listing, this would be the same process as if I was adding a listing, essentially. Okay, you see up here where it says this edit and job, blah, 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 blah. That's that other URL I was talking about. So that's the URL you're going to get when you edit a listing. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you're editing a listing or you're adding one, we're still targeting that. Okay, and I'll actually put that in the guide as well as what other conditions you could possibly set. But anyway, so if we scroll down here and you see this text-based field right here, okay? And this is using the WP editor options. And you see these links right here, okay? This is what we want to hide, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go back into WP code box. We're just going to toggle on our code snippet. And remember, we are hiding it on a per user role, and we're hiding it from the admin, which is me in this case, okay? So now when I refresh this page, this link and this link option should be completely gone. There we go. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Now, another caveat, if you have multiple text-based fields, it's going to get a bit different, right? Because if you inspect the CSS, each of these has its own menu item ID. See here how this one says 36? See if I hover over it where it says 36? So if you've got multiple fields there, you see how it says 4 and 5? Just come in here. Do it like this and just keep incrementing your numbers, okay? So just like that. A majority of people out there, I shouldn't say a majority, I see it a lot where you just have one text-based field, and that's typically the description field. So you're good to go. But for those that have multiple, you're going to need to know how to do this, okay? All right, so I did that. So now this one should go away. All right, let's go ahead and refresh. That did not go away. Why did that not go away? What did I do wrong? So let's go back here. Let's inspect this again. Oh, 36. That's why. Okay. So then that would mean logically this one next to it would be 37. We'll just go ahead and inspect to make sure. Yes, we see 37 on that. So let's go ahead. That's my bad. Let's put 36 on there. Put 37 there. Save. Let's go check and see how it looks. There we go. So now it's gone for this field. It's gone from this field, and you see this particular site has multiple text. So you just keep doing that. Okay. Let's do another one. Inspect. This one has an ID of 68. So logically, that means this next one to the right is going to have 69s. Okay. So let's come back in here. $68 and 69. Okay, little CSS, tip knowledge. This you'll see at the very end, if you're adding multiple IDs in an array, for lack of a better way to say that, you just want that last one there to not have the comma. That's basically saying, hey, this is the end of what we're trying to target, so we don't put a comma there. Each of these comments is saying, hey, let's go look at the next item and the next item and the next item in the array. All right, let's save that. We should have all of those gone. Cool. So what we've done here is targeted the links, but I mean, you can see how this applies to anything. Like you can remove the bold, you can remove the italic, any of the stuff in here. You just have to inspect it and get rid of it that way. Okay, let's toggle this off. We'll see that they all come back. Okay, so they're all back. Let's toggle it back on. And you can come back in here into the conditions builder and you can get even more granular if you want. If you want to add more roles, you can add multiple roles. If you want to do different kinds, if you want to pair this with a different kind of condition. You could also say current logged in user is not the admin. So everybody else but the admin is going to get those icons hidden or whatever your code is trying to do. You could pair this with, by clicking add group, you can pair this with another condition. All of these conditions are true, or all of these conditions are true, and you can add different, just keep building this however it is that you want to build your conditions. That's why this plugin is so powerful. It's why I recommend it highly. It's just a beautiful thing. But yeah, I hope you found this video useful. I would just go the CSS route unless you have a good reason to dive in here and go the PHP route. People who are developers for a living. That is what they do. They sit and they code, and they're really good at it and stuff like that. Those purists, if you will, may say, "Hey, I would have done this using the PHP route over CSS." Okay, that's fine. But I'm giving you multiple options here, and the other thing is it's just you got to speak to the wider, the audience that I think is really listening to this, and I think it's the people who are going to use the option that I just showed. So, like I said, this guide's been sitting out here. The previous version and the previous version of the code snippet was just PHP before, but I've updated the guide and I've updated the code snippets to give you this easier option of just using CSS. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.